Yo, Celtics Nation, I'm bringing the heat from Boston straight to you. Today's a wild one, packed with news that'll hit you right in the fan feels. Are we staring down a roster revolution? Or is Brad Stevens playing 4D chess while we're stuck on checkers? Buckle up, cause what's coming is heavy, it's thrilling, and it's gonna keep you locked in till the end. You won't believe what we've got today, so grab a seat, smash that like button, and let's dive into the action. Alright, Celtics Nation, let's jump right into the first bombshell. Picture this. TD Garden packed, the crowd electric, but our roster, yeah, it's going through a shakeup nobody saw coming. Jason Tatum's sidelined for most of the season with an Achilles injury. Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis are already gone. And now, who's stepping up to hold it down? Luke Kornet, the big man who shined in the playoffs, but he's got one foot out the door. Yup, his future's up in the air, and Brad Stevens is sweating to keep this guy in green. Why? Because Kornet's no longer just a bench guy. He could be the next starting center for the Celtics, but the price tag? Man, it's steep. Kornet, who wrapped the season averaging 6 points, 5.3 rebounds, and a ridiculous 66.8% shooting, is a hot commodity in free agency. NBA insiders like Steve Bulpett from Heavy say he's about to cash in big. Think about this. Steven Adams snagged 3 years at $13 million per season, and Daniel Gafford locked in $60 million over 3. The mid-level exception's sitting around $13 million, and guess what? Kornet could be in that ballpark. That's a massive jump from the $3 million max he's earned in a season. Problem is, even after some cap gymnastics to stay under the second apron, the Celtics don't have that kind of cash lying around. If Kornet walks, we're left with a gaping hole in the paint. With Porzingis traded to Atlanta and Al Horford nearing the end of his career, who's holding down the center spot? Neemias Queta? Maybe, but he doesn't have Kornet's experience. Fans on X are split. Some are screaming that $13 million a year for a backup is insanity, while others say he's the guy to anchor the front court with Tatum out. Strategically, Kornet brings defensive presence, rebounds, and that hustle we all love. But Stevens will need to open the wallet or pull off some trade magic to keep him. And here's the kicker. Other teams are circling. Sources say the San Antonio Spurs are ready to throw the full mid-level exception at him. If that happens, Boston could lose a key piece from the 2024 championship run. So here's the question. Is it worth shelling out big bucks for a center who's never been a full-time starter? Or should we let him go and bet on another fix? Stevens is in a tough spot, and we're all biting our nails. But hold tight, cause what's next is even wilder. While we're freaking out over Kornet's future, what are the Celtics doing to hold the rest of the roster together? The offseason's a chess match, and Brad Stevens is moving every piece to stay under the second apron. They pulled it off, but the margin's razor thin, and now the focus is on keeping Al Horford and, of course, Kornet. But here's the tea that's got everyone talking. J.D. Davidson's future. Yup, the G League MVP is locked in. Or is he? Stick with me. Davidson, who's been bouncing between two-way contracts for 3 seasons, finally landed a full NBA deal for 2024-25. And now, per Michael Scotto from Hoops Hype, the Celtics picked up their team option for 2025-26, a non-guaranteed $2.27 million deal. Sounds like good news, right? He was a beast in the G League, dropping 25.6 points, 7.8 assists, and 5 rebounds a game. But here's the twist. That contract doesn't mean he's staying in Boston. As Adam Himmelsbach from the Boston Globe reported, this deal's flexible, meaning the Celtics could cut or trade Davidson to clear cap space. Why does this matter? With Tatum out, Holiday and Porzingis traded, the team needs depth. Davidson's a young, explosive guard who could bring spark off the bench. But with the budget tight, he might be a trade chip to keep veterans like Horford or Kornet. On X, fans are torn. Some see Davidson as the future, a guy who could step up with Tatum sidelined. Others say he hasn't proven enough in the NBA too. Stick around. Strategically, a non-guaranteed deal gives Stevens room to maneuver. It's either a genius move or a gamble on losing raw talent. What's this mean for the team? If Davidson stays, he could be the spark plug the rotation needs, especially with open minutes in the backcourt. But if he's traded, it could free up space for a bigger name. The question is who? The trade window's open and the market's buzzing. Keeping Davidson for now shows Boston's playing it safe, but for how long? Is Stevens cooking up something? Bigger or just buying time? One thing's for sure. Celtics Nation is watching, and speaking of watching, the next bit's gonna leave you speechless. While we're trying to wrap our heads around Davidson, the heart of Celtics Nation is pounding for a guy who's all about grit. Derrick White. He's the engine of this team, and with the roster in flux, one question's echoing. Will Boston hold on to him at all costs? The answer hits like a gut punch. According to Jake Fisher from the Stein Line, the Celtics are asking a fortune for White in trade talks. We're talking 4 unprotected first-round picks, a 2028 pick swap, plus another first and second rounder in 2025. That's the kind of haul the Nets got for Mikal Bridges. Will anyone bite? White's not just a player. He's a 2-time all-defensive stud, a cornerstone of the 2024 title, and he posted a career-high 16.4 points per game last season. With Tatum out, White's the guy to lead both the offense and defense. His 4-year, $118 million extension shows how much Boston believes in him. But with the cap squeezing tight, one misstep could derail everything. On X, fans are losing it. Some say White's untouchable. Others think Stevens is just testing the market. Strategically, keeping White is critical. He fills gaps, locks down the opponent's best player, and shoots with confidence. Without him, the team loses its identity. But the asking price is practically a statement. We're not trading him. Is it a bluff? Or is Stevens open to a deal if someone gets close? The market's hot, and teams with draft picks might make a move. With Holiday and Porzingis gone, trading White would be like ripping out the team's heart. The fan base wouldn't. Forgive that. And here's the thing. With the second apron looming, every choice is a double-edged sword. Keeping White might mean letting go of others, like Kornet or even Horford. Or is Stevens planning a blockbuster trade for another star? The tension's thick, and every day brings a new rumor. Celtics Nation, where you at? Is White worth that massive haul, or is it time to rebuild? Hold your breath, cause the next piece is a roller coaster that'll shake everything up. And while we're processing what could happen with Derrick White, the off-season cauldron is boiling over. The Celtics are racing to keep the roster competitive, but the second apron's choking Brad Stevens. After sending Kristaps Porzingis to Atlanta and Drew Holiday to Portland for Anthony Simons, Boston's juggling to hold on to Luke Kornet. But brace yourself, cause Mark Stein dropped a bomb. The San Antonio Spurs are eyeing our big man, ready to offer the full $14.1 million mid-level exception. Are we about to lose another key piece? Kornet, as we mentioned, is more than a backup. Last season, he brought 6 points, 5.3 rebounds, and a block per game in 18.6 minutes. He's the guy who dives into the paint, fights for boards, and brings the energy fans go wild for. But with just $5 million left under the second apron, the Celtics are at a crossroads. Pay $14 million a year for Kornet? Nearly impossible without moving someone. And who's on the block? Anthony Simons at $27 million, or maybe Sam Hauser at $10 million. Trading one of them to keep a potential starting center is the kind of call that splits the fan base. On X, the vibes are intense. Some fans say Kornet's a must-keep, especially without Tatum and Porzingis, since he fits Joe Mazzulla's system like a glove. Others argue that paying that much for a non-star is nuts, and Simons' offensive upside should take priority. Strategically, losing Kornet to the Spurs would sting. San Antonio's building around Wembanyama, and Kornet would be a perfect fit. For Boston, it's a risk. Without him, the paint's vulnerable, and Al Horford can't handle 30 minutes a night. Stevens is in a tight spot. Trading Simons could ease the cap, but you'd lose a sharpshooter. Keeping Kornet could shore up the defense. But at what cost? Fans are shouting, is it worth giving up a young talent like Simons for a rotation big? Or is Stevens cooking up another surprise trade? The clock's ticking, and every move is make or break. But hold up, cause the wrap-up's gonna light. Up the comments. Celtics Nation, what a day. Luke Kornet's on the ropes, with the Spurs lurking and a salary that could bust the cap. J.D. Davidson's locked in, but maybe halfway out the door. Derrick White's untouchable? Or is he a trade chip for a massive haul? And the juggling act with Simons and Hauser to dodge the second apron. Every Brad Stevens move is a shot in the dark. Is he building a new champ or risking it all? What do you think? Overpaying for Kornet crazy? Is White worth 4 picks? Drop your take in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe so you don't miss a thing.